with all of these one-off expectations that many folks are having out there, tell me more about how we can empower the manufacturing teams to handle these bespoke requests more successfully. Like, how do we further this convergence between manufacturing and construction? Because I feel like some folks at a face value might go, those two industries don't have anything to do with each other. They're, construction's off over here and manufacturing's here. We know that that's not true, but help us kind of bridge that gap a little bit further.
You're opening up the question of, if you're making one. So it's manufacturing of one. And what does that mean? Does that mean we no longer want to take a manufacturing process? Coming from a computer science background, I'll give my answer in terms of the way I approach a lot of problems that happen in the computer science space or in software engineering. Oftentimes when we look at problems, there's an initial intent to make it and say, this is a snowflake, this is one-off, this is unique, and this is special. And people who are truly great at building software, they're able to recognize the things that are special and unique about that project or that opportunity we're trying to solve for. And they also recognize what is generalizable, what can be turned into a platform or an opportunity. As you see technology advance, we see that all over the place. We see things where you need to advance in a very unique, bespoke way to advance beyond where we are today. But then once that happens, it happens again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you start to see the opportunities. It's sort of, you see the generalizations. And we've seen this in terms of the evolution of all the technology we work on and we use. Early days of cell phones use a very specific type of one of a few different network types. And if you were on that network type, your phone didn't work, right? And now our phones now are much, if data is sent and transported. I can use one type of phone, you use a different type of phone, we can still share information. You could argue that, iMessage and all these other things are still a little bespoke and goofy, but they get resolved and they get generalized. And we move further and further into the future of building technology. And that's what will happen in this space, is that we'll start to see what the things are that are general. And, one way of looking at it, if I'm critical of the whole industrialized construction movement, say it actually didn't start and stop soon. Windows are one that I love to look at. You look at a history of Windows. It wasn't that long ago. Well, maybe it was, but I can still look and point to houses where windows were made there. Like they were framed by someone who cut the glass and put a frame together and then hung the window. And now no one would ever even think of building a window that way. They would go and they say, okay, I'm going to order a window and the window is going to be delivered. So we've been moving in this direction. We continue to move in this direction, and it'll continue to evolve. The difference is that the how fast does it move and how fast is that opportunity. And as we continue to build more and more facilities and things that are special and unique. I was in actually yesterday. I was in Seattle, and I got to see. In downtown Seattle, Amazon has built, there's a bunch of buildings, which ironically look a lot alike. And then there in the middle, there are the spheres that Amazon built that is open to the public. And I got to go into those buildings. Those buildings are extremely unique in terms of the framing of the building. There's the structure that they make for the spheres. But all those elements were made were essentially, they were prefabricated and then assembled there. And you can't get by, you can, but it's very unique building in a very unique space for a very unique climate that they're trying to create inside of these spheres that create this biosphere opportunity where they have more of a tropical feel inside of the buildings. But yeah, most of the parts inside of there were created somewhere else and then assembled on site. So it just shows that there's it depends how far you want to go down that technology road.
You kind of hit the nail on the head that I was hoping you would with your answer here too, because it's easy to think very big picture and just go, well, it's a one-off project. How on earth does this benefit? But you're absolutely right. With the technology that we've developed and our processes with prefabrication and all of these different tools, prefab doesn't necessarily mean everything is exactly the same. We're actually able to create incredibly beautiful and interesting and unique and visually compelling spaces with this technology, even if you only did it once. And these manufacturing facilities are moving to the state where they can support those things in a way that they might not have been able to 5 or 10 years ago because it wasn't really part of the consideration. Because especially in North America, the prefab was always just, here's our boxes that we're going to put up that are going to be standardized. And there's still tremendous value in that repeatability in the kit of parts approach. But it does touch a lot more parts of construction. I think sometimes folks might understand, and you can do some really cool stuff with it if you're being innovative and creative. And Tarika, you're nodding your head with enthusiasm. I'm happy to see that. So I'm curious to hear more about, do you have any examples of how you're helping your customers support some of these bespoke efforts, whether it's, a one-off single project or more of a bespoke configuration for the technology? Tell me about how you and your team manage that and support this aspect of industrialized construction.
Yeah, I mean, I really like how Ben described. The key is to convert that bespoke models into as much standard components as possible, but allowing the customization at the same time. So, Ben, Eric, do you remember Katera in 2015, 2020 era? It was very popular at that time for its offshore construction, offsite construction, although unfortunately shut down. But it made huge claims and new revolution in industrialized construction. So that time we were their software development team, and we created generative solutions that could nest the standard components in different design variations. Meaning, the objective of those solution or of those algorithm was to maximize the usage of standard components in bespoke designs, and that minimizes the wastage, that minimizes non-standard components, and help them reduce the overall cost of manufacturing and brought sustainability. So at that time, I would say were the challenging days to even understand and interpret what Katera was trying to do. But at the end, we were able to create wonderful solutions that they sold later.